Good morning, New York Mets Nation, and welcome to the Bat Cave. I'm your host, the Bat Frie, Kenny Fry, and look at the nuts, baby. We're looking smooth, looking slick, looking better than ever. Our boy Paul Maiko Spencer has put a lot of work into Out of the Box Sports. New backgrounds, new video, opening and closing. He's done a hell of a job every show with a new background, new everything. It's fantastic. A lot of changes, and changes are good. I hope everybody's doing well out there in podcast land. It's a dreary, chilly day so far here in Pennsylvania. It is what it is. April showers and blah blah blah. Right? Let's kick it off here. Let's get rolling with the Mets. We got our first comment rolling in here. There he is, number one, Adam Glenn. First in, baby. What's up, buddy? How you doing today? First one in, buddy. All right, Mets going 7-3 on the West Coast swing. I also have the little ticker at the bottom with the standings. So a pretty good swing for the Mets out there in the West Coast. A couple games with the A's, a couple games with the Dodgers, 4 games with the Giants. Going 7-3, that's overall pretty good. Pretty good road trip there. So they swept the A's. They took 2 or 3 from the Dodgers, and then the Giants, they took the first 2, but then lost the second 2. So hey, Danny on Wheels, what's up, buddy? You can check Danny out on Mondays, Joystick Junkies with Evan, and at 8 p.m. And you can also check Danny out on Fridays, 8 p.m. with the Big Blue Power Hour. Talking New York Giants football with Stacy and Evan again. It's up, buddy. I'm up. I'm up. You're up. Everybody's up. So a decent road trip, like I said. The A's, it was like just a really odd series. The first game with the 17 walks that they got from the A's winning the first game 17-6, I think it was. Then the next 2 after that, I believe, were 1-run games, fairly tight games. Then the Dodgers taking 2 or 3. I think they won their first game, lost the second game, and won the last game. And like I said about the Giants, winning the first 2, losing the next 2, and it's just the offense decided to go night the last 2 games of the West Coast trip, and the first game of our homestand against the Nationals last night, losing 5-0. So it's that's the early season so far. I've talked about it. I think last week about the offense not being there. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. It's been very mediocre at best, which is kind of surprising. Because Brandon Nimmo has started off so hot the way he has, and Pete Alonso with the power numbers he has, but everybody else is kind of feeling their way through it so far. Already a couple like nagging injuries. I know Starling Marte, they had in and out of the lineup already. They give him time off and stuff like that. Workload, it's unbelievable you getting workload days off the first month of the season, but that's what they're doing. That's what Buck's doing this season for a lot of the guys, hoping that they're around. Hopefully the Mets are around in come October, November, but hopefully these guys are healthy and able to play at 100%, come playoff time. But first things first, we got to win the goddamn games to get into the playoffs. So, frustrating, very, very frustrating. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the whole workload thing. Back, when I was, a youngster, when I was a wee little lad, a lot of your ball players played all 162 games. You just don't see that often at all. I mean, Pete Alonso, he's an everyday player. He'll play as much as possible, same as Jeff McNeil. But I think Alonso played. I don't think he played the full 162 last year, but I think it's like 160, 158, 160, somewhere around there. Um, so yeah. Uh, we'll move on to the pitching on that West Coast trip. The pitching was good. It was bad. It was starting pitching anyway. I thought that the bullpens pitched fairly well out there on the West Coast. But some of the pitchers that kind of struggled, Kodai Senga, he's struggled his last two starts now against the A's, and I think it was the Dodgers also. But on the West Coast swing, he pitched for 9 2/3 innings, 8 earned runs in 9 2/3, 4 home runs, which is high in my opinion. 8 walks is really, really high, and 11 strikeouts. So far this season, he is still 3-0 with a 4.29 ERA. He does go again today against the Nationals, so we'll see what he does today. But I don't know if it's still him getting used to the ball. The Major League ball is a little bit different than the Japanese ball. I think the American ball or the Major League ball is a little bit bigger or something like that, I read. And so is he still getting used to that? Just getting used to maybe the way umpires call it, perhaps, because 8 walks is a lot of freaking walks, man. In 9 2/3 innings. But no matter what, he's been struggling. He hasn't looked all that great. There's times he does flash some greatness, but for the most part, he's been very middle of the road and not what we've been needing out of him, especially with Verlander being out for the first month, and Scherzer being in and out a little bit. We'll talk about Scherzer a little bit later on. Psychopath. A comment. Adam says, next time Max cheats, he will be suspended for 100 games. Max didn't cheat. Adam Glenn throwing that cheating word around like it's an everyday occurrence. So let me see. Might as well get into it now while we're on the subject. I guess I don't have a banner for it. Anyway, so Max Scherzer, his last start went 3 innings, no runs, and I guess so. He ended up getting thrown out of the game. So what happened is he comes out. All right, I think it was when he was going in. They're feeling his hand, talking to him. They said it was overly sticky. They said told him go in and wash your hands off, and come back out. So he goes in, he washes his hands off with water and alcohol, which is what he's told to use. And they have Major League Baseball official right there with him, and so he washes the stuff off the best he can, comes back out, and it's not good enough. They're feeling it. They're saying it's still sticky and clumpy or whatever. Well, it's the use of rosin. And David Cohn did a great job, I thought, on ESPN's broadcast of the Mets and Giants game Sunday night of showing what happens when you use rosin and sweat, and then you add alcohol to the equation. And it's just insane. I had no idea rosin made your hands sticky at all. I always thought, I never used a rosin bag. I was never a pitcher, nothing like that. I always thought like rosin was something to dry your hand, but apparently it makes it sticky when it's mixed with water and especially sweat, and even more so alcohol. So you use rosin. So what would happen is you'd use rosin on your hand and you'd go to hair for sweat to give a little bit of tackiness, which is acceptable use of rosin in Major League Baseball. It's 100% legal. If there's an overuse of rosin, I guess that's illegal, but there's no parameter. There's no this is what too much is. It's kind of a judgment call. And so when they told Max to go in and wash his hands with alcohol, that makes it even worse. It cleans the hands off a little bit, it doesn't gets rid of the clumpiness, but it makes it even stickier. So I mean, what do you suppose? He's using a legal substance, that's allowed by Major League Baseball, and he gets thrown out for it. He gets suspended for it. It doesn't make sense, and it's legal. But basically, what it comes down to, it's a legal substance. All pitchers use it. They've used it since rosin bags have been around, and like David Cohn showed, it adds stickiness, it adds tackiness, for grip for the baseball. But Major League Baseball knows that. But for some reason, Phil Cuzzi doesn't know that. He's tossed 3 pitchers. I don't think it was this season, but he's tossed three pitchers now in the past for the same exact thing. And it makes 0 sense. Why is it just this one umpire doing this? Maybe Major League Baseball should be talking to Phil Cuzzi, saying "Hey, slap nuts, this is legal." But so it is what it is. Adam says he cheated. He didn't cheat, Adam. So I guess when you look at it, you accepted the penalty, the 10 game penalty. And so I guess if you look at it like that, you could say he cheated. Why? If he didn't cheat, why did he accept it? He accepted it basically so it doesn't further hamper the Mets rotation. The Mets rotation is already in shambles. Between injuries, between Jose Quintana, Cookie Carrasco, Verlander, and if he appeals it and makes his next start. Well, then it's the appeal's denied or whatever, because it's going through Major League Baseball. It's going through there's no independent arbitrator, and so they uphold that suspension. Well, then now you're losing 10 games later instead of just getting it over with and out of the way. But it's not cut and dry. It's not a cut and dry he cheated affair. As much as you want to think it is, there, Mr. Phillies fan. Eileen, there she is. Good morning. Adam beat you to the punch today. Eileen says, Domingo Germán did this a few days prior, and he was told to wash his hands, and they had no problem after that. Well, and that's the thing so they sent Scherzer into the dugout to wash his hands. There's a Major League official with him. According to Scherzer, there's a Major League official standing right there. They told him to go in and wash his hands with alcohol. And Eileen, I don't know if you watched the Mets or I guess the ESPN broadcast of the Mets and Giants on Sunday, but David Cohn was showing what happens when you add alcohol to your hand that has rosin on it. It makes it even stickier. Makes it even more like David Cohn was able to go like this with a ball in his hand with a little alcohol and rosin. The ball's just sticking to his hand. I mean, I don't they know that though. That's the thing. It's common knowledge, for baseball, for Major League Baseball. It's a legal substance. How can that be even an issue? But there is an issue with overuse, and he said his hands were clumpy. And then when David Cohn talked about it, he said that the clumpiness, there's a buildup, like a dark residue that builds up on the tips of your fingers that you use the alcohol to wash it off with, which is what Scherzer did. But again, it made it even more stickier. So it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't. The Domingo Germán thing, I think they let him wash his hands twice, for crying out loud. I mean, it was insane. Yeah, Eileen says yes. They say it makes it stickier. Adam says that David Cohn and I are homers. That may be true. But David Cohn is getting paid millions of dollars to be biased. So I'm sure David Cohn wasn't being a homer. He was a pitcher. He knows. David Cohn knows a lot more than what we know about rosin and sweat and rosin and alcohol. And I said it on the show a million times. The pitchers should be allowed to use whatever they want for stickiness, for tackiness, and whatever gives them a good grip on the ball, and they're not hitting batters left and right. I don't see what the problem is, unless like the big thing was that they also talked about on ESPN was unless the Major League Baseball can get a uniform baseball that has every baseball has the same amount of tackiness, stickiness to it, where the pitchers don't have to use a rosin bag or anything else like that. That this is just going to keep coming up. I think it's a safety issue that your pitchers don't have access to something sticky to get a better grip. Now, a lot of talk is about spin rate, and there's another thing that Max Scherzer brought up, which makes you think he was not cheating, was he said, check the spin rate. He said, I've always used rosin. He said, it does not affect my spin rate, doesn't affect, breaks on the balls and stuff like that. And from everything that they said, the spin rate wasn't affected. The spin rate was his normal spin rate. There was no, extra break on his slider or anything like that. And so, yeah, it's nonsense is what it is. It comes down, it's pure 100% nonsense. And, just do your 10 games and it is what it is. Adam says he pitched for the Mets. Oh, I know David Cohn pitched for the Mets. He also pitched for the Yankees. I think the Blue Jays, maybe. David Cohn's been around. I think he won a World Series with the Yankees and pitched a no-hitter with the Yankees also, but he didn't do any of that stuff with the Mets. I love David Cohn. He's one of my favorite players when I was a tweener, a young teenager, something like that, tweener or whatever they call them, tweenie. I don't know. So the starting pitching. Let's get back to that. Like I said about Senga, really struggling. We'll see how he does today. David Peterson's been absolutely awful. The dude has been terrible. 11 innings pitched, 13 earned runs, 5 home runs, 1 walk, 14 strikeouts on the West Coast trip, which is terrible. Yeah, I think his first start gave up 7 runs, and second start 6 runs. It was, and even Tyler McGill, who's been our most consistent pitcher so far, he even struggled in one of his, or no, I guess both of his starts were, I think, 4 runs and 3 runs, I think it was. So he had 9 innings pitched, 7 earned runs, 3 home runs, 5 walks. Again, the control issue pops up for Mets pitching with the 5 walks and 6 strikeouts. But so far this year, he's 3-1 with a 3.96 ERA. So he's been our most consistent pitcher. But out there on the West Coast, just like the rest of most of the starting pitching, really, really struggled. Jose Butto went last night for the Mets. He struggled with his command last night with 4 2/3 innings pitched, 6 walks. You only gave up 2 earned runs against the Nationals, but it's 6 walks. You're not going to make it out of the 4th inning. So, which is, we need more out of our pitching. We need our pitchers to go 6 innings, 7 innings, or our bullpen is going to be toast come July. And it's our bullpens we use so much. It's a little bit it's worrisome. Definitely worrisome. Our pitchers can't get out of the 5th inning, can't get past the 5th inning, and say it's not good. It's not good at all. We'll move on from that, I think. Yes. Another thing that's a little bit concerning is no power help for the big man, for Pete Alonso. He leads, or he's second in the league right now with home runs with 10. I can't remember who has 11 now. I did look at it, but I don't remember who it was. Just a quick look at the rest of the lineup. You have Lindor with 4. That's the closest. Pete has 10. Lindor has 4. and then there's Canna, Escobar, Nimmo, and Tommy Pham with 2 apiece. That's not getting it done. I mean, even the San Francisco Giants, like I'd say, most of their starting lineup had over 4 home runs, and we have 2 guys. I mean, that's insane. It's unfortunate, especially with like Escobar is one of the guys that the Mets would look to for power. At least they're hoping. But I talked about it preseason before spring training started. You look at Escobar's numbers, and they've been on a steady decline for the last like 5 years. He had the one season where he hit, I think it was like 30 plus home runs. The mid high 30s home runs. But every year since then, his average and his home runs have dropped drastically. And you've seen it last year, and it's the same as this year. He played himself basically out of a job, and there's just no pop. I mean, that was a concern last year as one of our biggest issues, and we didn't address it in the offseason. We were hoping, I guess, that Carlos Correa could have been one of those bats to come in to fill the need, because you have to figure Lindor will still end up with somewhere in the mid-20s with home runs. But besides that, who do you got? I mean, you'll have Pete with 40 home runs, then you have Lindor with 24. That's not cutting it. Everybody else with 15. I mean, it's too bad that Vogelbach can't hit lefties. If Vogelbach could hit lefties, maybe there's some pop there. But all he can do is hit righties, so that's the only time he plays. And that's at the DH role. He got his first home run the other day. A nice opposite field rocket, but can't hit the lefty, so you only get to play part-time. So I don't know if they'll have to wait and see trade deadline stuff. I did see the name CJ Cron from the Rockies floated out there, but it's too early really to talk about trade deadline stuff. That's for June, when June rolls around. But the one thing, Pete's a big bat. Pete has played very, very well at the plate with the 10 home runs and 25 RBIs, I think it is. Brandon Nimmo has been fantastic at the plate. Has gotten on base by any means necessary and has been hitting the ball. Last season, his average, like I think it was the 260s, 270s, somewhere around there. But he got on base a lot through walks and through infield hits and just putting pressure on the defense and stuff like that. This year, he's actually hitting the ball gap to gap, and then of course his infield hits and dinky hits and stuff, but also the walks. I'll go over some stats for him. So far, 23 games for Nimmo, hitting 349, which is 4th in the National League and 5th in the major leagues. A 950 OPS, which is 10th in the National League and 16th in the majors. 456 on base percentage, which is 2nd in the National League and in all of Major League Baseball. 16 walks, which is 6th in the National League and 10th in the Major League Baseball. 29 hits, which is 6th in the National League and 11th in Major League Baseball. 6 doubles. Again, I said the 2 home runs, 13 RBIs, but the 16 walks, to go with his 29 hits, phenomenal. A terrific on base percentage. If he can keep that up, that's going to put him in a lot of high regard. Possibly MVP talk. Thinking about where the Mets could be. If the Mets are where they want to be at the end of the season, that could possibly put Nimmo into some MVP talks. And you figure if you can continue hitting at the clip he's hitting with all those walks and the OPS, I mean, it's kind of hard not to consider him a little bit, minus the power numbers, but his defense has been phenomenal also. I mean, some of the catches that he's made in center field so far this season have been insane. So it's just ever since the Mets signed him, he's been everything you hope for. I mean, it's April yet, but it's easy to get excited about Brandon Nimmo. Maiko Spencer checking in says Nimmo's motor I love. He sprints to first on pop flies, knowing he's out. Something kids should watch. Built the right way. He's on fire, absolutely, and that's the I think he's from Wyoming or Montana or some state like that, and that's just his upbringing. It's something I talked about last season, something I talked about in the offseason when the Mets were trying to re-sign him. The dude is just go, 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 go. I mean, he walks, he draws a walk, he's sprinting down to first. Like Maiko said, there's a pop fly, routine can of corn pop fly. He's sprinting down to first because you just don't know. You don't know what could happen. He could drop it. Yeah, they're Major League Baseball players. They get paid a lot of money to make those plays, but he could drop it. And if he drops it, you want to be at the bag. You don't want to be one of those guys, halfway there or walking back towards the dugout already. You want to be at the base, maybe even taking a turn, to go to second off a drop pop fly. So Nimmo's just hustle all the time, 100%. And, the smile, he always has a smile on his face, a good teammate. ESPN did the on-field interview with Nimmo, and just talking to him, seems like a likable dude. So I'm really glad the Mets were able to re-sign him for 8 years, and nobody else has him. So I'm glad he's a Met and not a Brave or a Philly. Eileen says he can drop it, aka Luis Castillo versus the Yankees. Yeah, I think that was the last out of the game too. I believe it was, right, if I remember correctly. Pop out to second base and can of corn, man, just dropped it. I wonder where that came from. Can of corn. When that's where that saying came from. That's I use that. I've been using that a lot lately. I don't know why, but I bet it has some interesting origins as to why it's used in baseball anyway. For an easy pop fly, can of corn. So we'll move on from Nimmo on fire. Move on from that to Baty and Alvarez off to a slow start. So the Mets brought up Brett Baty and Francisco Alvarez a couple weeks ago, and they've been struggling at the plate a little bit, which is to be expected. They're young guys. I mean, not everybody's going to be Michael Harris from the Braves. They're not going to come up and just light the world on fire like Michael Harris the second did last year. And so yeah, they've been struggling at the plate. Francisco Alvarez, he got his first home run the other day. And I guess the most frustrating part with them struggling is they've been doing it with guys on base also. Yeah, you know how bad the Mets are with runners in scoring position for the last 3, 4, 5 years. And so whenever those guys are up and there's somebody on base, it's like, oh, come on, just put it in the gap somewhere. But it seems like Baty's been hitting the ball a little bit better recently, and they're going to catch on. And so I was talking about the Mets' power struggles, and those are a couple guys that are potentially some big bats. I'm talking like 20, 30 home run type bats. And so once they start clicking, once they start going, I think we're going to be all right with the power, with our power output. But it's just how long is this going to take? It could take probably another month or so. I would guess, because they're good hitters. They were raking down in AAA, and I know there's a huge difference between AAA and the major leagues, but they're still professional hitters. It's you don't hit 350 in AAA and come up and hit 150 in Major League Baseball. There has to be a tighter gap. And I think they'll turn it around. You just got to have patience with them. A lot of Mets fans are, calling for Vientos to be called up right away and Ronnie Mauricio. Let these guys, let Baty, let Francisco Alvarez get their footing, get their legs and their bats under him and stuff like that, and then start thinking about Vientos and Ronnie Mauricio. You got to take baby steps. Got to have patience. 20, 21 years old, 22 years old, maybe. So it's gonna take time, and once they start hitting, it's gonna be a lot of fun to watch. Speaking of Vientos and Mauricio, they're still killing it down in AAA. I have their numbers here. Ronnie Mauricio hitting 350, 6 home runs, 16 RBIs, 1.083 OPS, and Mark Vientos hitting 368, 6 home runs, 17 RBI with a 1.163 OPS. The guys are just killing it. Absolutely killing it. Vientos playing mostly third base. Ronnie Mauricio was playing a lot of shortstop, and there's been talk about Mauricio changing his position because at shortstop, of course, we have Francisco Lindor. So there was talk about moving Ronnie Mauricio to the outfield, to second base, just anywhere else, just to get him up, because he's very dynamic. He was the MVP in the Dominican Winter League, which is a huge thing. He had an outstanding spring for the Mets in spring training, and that's carried right over to AAA. So the sooner the better. But like I said, let Baty and Alvarez kind of get their footing first, and then look to call Vientos and Mauricio up. But right now, they started playing Mauricio at second base, so that tells me that when he is ready to come up, when the Mets are ready to bring him up, Luis Guillorme will take a back seat. Because that's who's been playing second off and on with Jeff McNeil. And that tells me that Jeff McNeil will probably go out to left field more often. And then, he'll be platooning out there with Mark Canha. And Jeff McNeil is one of those guys that plays every day. So you can move Jeff McNeil pretty much anywhere. He plays left, he plays right, a little bit of center, second base. I've seen him at third base also last season. So you can move McNeil anywhere. And he's starting to heat up a little bit also. Not last night, but nobody really hit last night. But he's hitting 280 now, and he was in the very low 200s for a while. But he's starting to put together a few games with multi hits and stuff like that. So I think McNeil will be fine. But Canha's been struggling, so you don't know what's going to happen with him. Our DH spot. Tommy Pham has been playing a little bit of DH as well as outfield. He's been hitting all right. He's hit much better for us at DH than what Ruff was last year. What Ruff was last year, and like J.D. Davis and Dom Smith, and even Vogelbach. So far, Tommy Pham, I thought, has done a pretty decent job. Filling in nice in the outfield when, as we rotate guys in and out. But, maybe Ronnie Mauricio comes up and plays a little bit of DH also. Same thing with Mark Vientos. Maybe bring him up, rotate him in at third base with him and Baty. Vientos also plays the outfield. Like I said about Eduardo Escobar, just absolutely struggling. I think his days are numbered as a Met, which is a shame because he seems like a decent dude. But his numbers have declined so much and so fast. It's too bad. Lane said, "Do you think the Mets wait to bring them so they can manipulate the service time?" Yeah, and that's something I talked about. I think it was during spring training when all these guys were crushing it. I don't know the exact rules with the service time thing, but in May there's a certain date. If you bring them up before that, you have to pay them a certain amount, but after that, they're still on their minor league contract or something like that. But yeah, I could see them wait until after that, especially since they brought up Baty and Alvarez already. So yeah, I could see them waiting. And I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's May. There's a certain date in May that if you bring them up before or after, that determines what their contract is for that season and how much they get paid. And I know there's been gripes about it in the past from I think the Players Association saying that's not fair, blah, 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 but it's there. So you use it. That's, it is what it is. Steve Cohen's a multi-billionaire, but he's not stupid. So So I think that I do think they wait until May after that deadline, and I'm excited to see them play. So if that means releasing Eduardo Escobar, then so be it. Mark Canha, I like Mark Canha. He said he was going to try to hit for more power this year, but he hasn't been hitting a whole lot. Period. 2 home runs, like I said earlier, and he's hitting a low 200s, like 210, 209, somewhere around there. And so he just has not been on it. And the whole thing with Mark Canha is the pitch clock thing. He was one of those guys, I talked about this last week, that would come up to the plate, adjust his batting gloves and shrug the shoulders and crack the neck and think, like, look at the sky and think, okay, what's he going to throw? Is he going to throw me a splitter? Is he going to throw me a changeup? Now he has to get in there and look right away. So he's not, So is that hurting Mark Canha? I don't know, but he's struggling, which is costing him playing time. So I think they had McNeil in left yesterday, and they had Guillorme at second base, Baty at third. Baty's been getting a whole lot more playing time at third base, which is good. The more at bats, the more he sees of Major League pitching, the better for him. Alvarez, I think, is still platooning every other day with Nito, which is fine. But I'd rather see them get Alvarez more looks at the plate also. So if that means catching one day, DHing the next day, I think that's something they should probably look into doing, just to get him more looks. We'll move on from Vientos and Mauricio to another Mets prospect, Joey Lucchesi. He had his first start the other day against the Giants, I believe it was. 7 innings pitched. Beautiful. 7 innings. We had a pitcher that went 7 innings. Unbelievable. He could have went 8, I think. Yeah, he was really rolling. 4 hits, no earned runs, 9 strikeouts, 2 walks. Awesome. I'm so happy. If you don't know who Joey Lucchesi is, he's a Mets prospect for the last few years, but has had a ton of arm issues. He was a highly touted prospect a couple years ago, but all these arm surgeries, elbow surgeries, every time it looks like he's primed to come back, another setback, ready to come back, another setback. So hopefully he's over the hill with that. I think I read somewhere that they're working on his delivery last season when he was working his way back to kind of relieve the stress off of his elbow. And he came out there and he pitched fantastic. He pitched a great game. And he has this pitch called a curve, which is like a changeup curve. It's nasty. When it's on, it is nasty. And I guess the announcers were saying that I think it was the Mets broadcast. We're saying that in the past he would use it too often, and after a while people would catch on to it and then start hitting it. Well, in that game against the Giants, he didn't use it all that often. He used it in the right spots, for get me outs or for strikeouts, and really good job, very good job. He threw his fastball a lot more. Adam Glenn says, "I love the Mets when I started watching baseball." The crack boys, Strawberry, Dwight Gooding. Now I love the Phillies. He also kind of got thrown out Lenny Dykstra in there too. He was into something before he was, even before he became a Philly. He was a Met, and I'm sure that's where all that goofiness with him started. But also, so I want to see Joey Lucchesi get more starts. He's getting a start actually tomorrow against the Nationals. So hopefully he has another great start and put together back-to-back great starts. He's had a terrific couple of starts down in AAA. And if he can put back-to-back great starts, my thought is move David Peterson to the bullpen. Move his ass to the bullpen. Get him out of there. Bring Joey Lucchesi in. And see what he can do in David Peterson's spot, because Peterson's not getting it done. Peterson's just getting lit up. He's walking a lot of people. And, it's time to put Peterson back in the bullpen. We do have a few bullpen guys out injured. So, I think Nogasek, we just put another guy, Ustera, I can't say his name. Usetera, I think it is. He just went on the IL also. Coonrod, he's on the IL. So we have some arms in the bullpen that are on the injured list that so we could use some bullpen help and move Peterson back. So that's let give Lucchesi a shot. I mean, even if when Cookie Carrasco comes back, if he's still pitching the way he was before he got hurt, get his ass out of here too. If you find somebody else. I know the Mets were shopping Carrasco in the offseason, and they couldn't get any takers. They would have been better off keeping Taijuan Walker and getting rid of sending Cookie Carrasco to the Phillies. Let him pitch there. Oh, Carrasco pisses me off. So I'm very positive. Very excited for Joey Lucchesi. Like I said, tomorrow pitching against the Nats. Hopefully he does well. Today we have Senga going. Hopefully he rebounds from his last two starts and returns to form a little bit to what we were hoping he could be. It's early on for him, so I'm not worried yet. If it comes July, August, and he's still pitching like this, I'm going to be very, very worried. So, let's hope and pray. One more Kings topic, Mets topic before I hit the Kings. The Mets defense. Mets defense has been getting a lot of praise recently because I think they have the fewest errors in Major League Baseball, and up until I think it was 2 games ago, I think it was the last game against the Giants or second to last game against the Giants, their Mets infield had 0 errors. Now, Brett Baty had an error in that one game against the Giants, so that ended that streak. It was like 20-some games, and so that ended that streak. But yeah, it's their defense has been phenomenal. Our 5th in defensive runs scored, defensive runs saved, 5th in defensive runs saved, 7th in outs above average, whatever the hell that means. I don't know what that means. But it was there, so I wrote it down. And they're 1st in ultimate zone rating, which quantifies how many runs a player has saved with their abilities. So I don't know how they figure that shit out, but it's there. So, but overall for this season, they only have 3 errors and 1 infield error. So, great job by the Mets defense. Lindor, Guillorme, McNeil, Alonso's played very, very well at first base. And the outfield, like I said about Nimmo, just tracking down all those balls in center field. There was the one catch that he had where it was only a 30% catch rate on it or something. How they figure that out, I don't know. Science, there's a lot of science in baseball now with all these stats and stuff like that. Adam Glenn says Joey would be good if he can stay healthy. Oh, absolutely. That's why I said Adam. So many shoulder, elbow surgeries for him. It was kind of a bummer because he was a very highly touted prospect a few years ago. I don't know how many years ago it is now. I think 4 or 5, and just one setback after another. Hopefully that's all behind him. We'll wait and see. So all these guys, Starling Marte out in right field, even Tommy Pham when he's in there. His defense is very good. Canna, he has a good glove out there in left, and so it's the defense. They say defense wins championships. So we'll see what happens there. It's not quite football, but we'll take it. I'll take it anyway. All right, that's all I got for that. We'll move on from the Mets to the Kings. Such a bummer last night, losing 6-3 against Edmonton. Now they're down 3-2 in the series, best of 7 series. You see at the bottom the ticker I have going there. I have the Kings points scoring leaders so far for the playoffs. Now, before I go any further, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors. There we go. Monkey Colt Coffee. Let me get that off of there first. There we go. Monkey Colt Coffee. I say it all the time. I scream from the hilltops about Monkey Colt Coffee. I really like their bourbon chocolate chip infused coffee. I cannot wait to try the toasted coconut rum coffee. I used it. I drank the bourbon chocolate chip with the cold brew pitcher. Very good cold brew. I can't wait to try it in the hot. I got to get a new coffee maker. I've said this a couple times. Just have not gotten to the Walmart yet. I was thinking about ordering one today, actually, and having it delivered. But I'm not a big fan of that. The Walmart's 15 minutes away. Just drive there and get it. Well, anyway, I'm getting off subject here. So join the cult. Hashtag join the cult. Monkey Colt Coffee. Check them out at www.monkeycoltcoffee.com. They have a bunch of stuff on their site. Besides the bourbon chocolate chip coffee, they have mugs, they have tumblers, a pretty sweet tumbler I just bought, t-shirts. They have the K-cup adapter. They also have a rum cake, which I just bought also, which is should be here in a couple days. Really excited for the rum cake, and I love the tumbler. I think the tumbler looks awesome online, so I can't wait to see that. So yeah, go to monkeycoltcoffee.com. Enter the promo code OOTB Sports, and to get a discount at checkout. That's OOTB Sports at monkeycoltcoffee.com. So join the cult, everybody. The bourbon chocolate chip infused coffee, fantastic. I can't. I'm not even BSing you. I think it's awesome. I think it's it tastes great. So try it out. Let me know what you think. Hit them up with reviews and stuff like that on Google. Check their reviews out that are there now. But also, if you do happen to buy this stuff, leave a review. It's. I'm telling you, you're not going to be disappointed. So open those wallets up. Hey, it's me. All right, back to that. We got Maiko Spencer. Coconut rum drops tonight at midnight. Damn, midnight. Like a Metallica album or something. Midnight. They're having a watch party. People lined out around the corner just waiting to get their hands on it. I can't wait to try it. I'm excited for it. I'll have to put an order in after midnight. So back to the Kings losing Game 5, which has me totally bummed. They lost. So back to Game 4, they were up 3-0 in the first period. You knew it wasn't going to be safe. The Oilers just such a fantastic offensive team. But the Kings jumped out 3-0 in Game 4 in the first. Then it was 3-3 after 2, and 4-4 overtime, where the Kings end up losing 5-4. And I think that kind of deflated the Kings' sails a little bit. That was a home game, and going into today, they came out flat. I think after one, it was 3-2. The Oilers jumped out 2-0 right away. Then it was 2-1. Then it was 3-1. Then it was 3-2. And then after that, the Kings just could not get any footing. The Oilers kept the pedal to the metal, and just pretty much just blew by them. It did. I just didn't feel like the Kings had a chance at all. We can't clear the front of our net. That's one thing. That's one thing that I've talked about a couple times. If you watch highlights, I didn't get a chance to watch last night's game yet. I listened to it, but I DVR'd it so I can watch it and kind of go over it. But from everything I heard on the radio broadcast, they just the lanes for the Oilers are wide open. And from past games that I watched, we're not pressuring them. Like we're letting the Oilers skate right up to our net, it's kind of like skate, skate, skate. And, our guys are just waiting. We're instead of being the hammer, we're being the nail right now. We need to kind of reverse that. Put pressure on, make them pass the puck. Get in their face, and it's just not happening right now. When we're playing defense, when we're on the defensive end, we're catching way too much. It's frustrating. It's not the style of hockey I like to see. It's like I'm just sitting there watching, especially Game 4. When I watch Game 4, I'm yelling. It's like go get him, go get him, go get him. Like he's just like they're letting him skate right up. It's really frustrating. Especially the Kings are a decent defensive team, and I don't know if it's just the respect that they give their scorers, that they're afraid they're going to pass it into an opening or whatever. If we put pressure on them, are they going to I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I can't even begin to explain what I'm thinking, but Maiko says it was a free skate for the Oilers, open lanes to the goal, no pressure on King's part. Yeah, and that's what it sounded like on the broadcast last night. And that's how it's been the whole series basically. The Kings penalty kill has been awful. The Oilers were by far and away the best power play team in the league this year. I think by a wide margin, they're the best power play team. But the Kings penalty kill, wasn't terrible this past season. I know early in the season it was one of the worst in the league, but as the season went on, it got better. But these playoffs, I think the Oilers are like 8 of 13, which is insane. That's nuts. That doesn't even make any sense. That shouldn't be a real number. 8 of 13. So it's basically what it comes down to is, we're letting the Oilers pass the puck around the horn, and they're slowly, if you watch it, they're slowly closing in. And we're just standing there waiting. We're being the nail. They're hammering us. I just think they need to put more pressure on the shooter, get in their face more, be more physical. A couple of the games that we won in the series, we out-hit the Oilers by at least 10 hits. It's in some of the games that we lost, we've been out-hit. So I think the more physical we are with their scorers, with their players, with their shooters, I should say, I think the better off we are. But it's not happening. We get into the penalty kill and we're just sitting there waiting for them to pass it. I think it's an over respect. I think they're being overly respectful to what the Oilers to their talent, to what they can do offensively. In my opinion, I think that's what it comes down to. I think if we're playing Vegas or Dallas or Minnesota, I think it's a different story. I think we do put that pressure on. We do get that physicality, but with the Oilers and their offense, it's not happening. We're laying back, and just playing catch. Hoping for the best, and it's not happening. We have a better chance of shooting lightning bolts out of our ass right now, and we'd be better off if we could. Yeah, that'd be a hell of a weapon to have. We need more out of Quentin Byfield. So they dropped him from the top line down to the fourth line last night, and he did get a goal, but I mean it was already 6-2, so I mean it didn't really mean anything. I watched when I've watched through this series with Byfield, he's been aggressive, he's been flying around, but he's also turned the puck over a lot. He's also missed plays. It's for a number one pick, he's been up all season. He's been a number one line for most of the season. You need more out of him. He has to show up. He has to show up big in these next 2 games, or we're not going to see Game 7. We won't see if he cannot step up. And I'm not talking like having to put points on the board like goals or assists. I'm just talking just more out of him, more aggressiveness, more speed, more physicality, because he's a big dude, a young dude. He should be scrappy, not like poor Angie Kopitar and Drew Doughty. These guys are older. They're mid to late 30s for crying out loud. That's old in sports, and they're out there trying to slam people around. And bones are brittle. Here's Byfield, a young buck. He should be out there, taking control. And there's been flashes of it, but they needed consistency. Like I said, he's up all season on the one line with Kopitar and stuff like that, and you just say, yeah, we need more. They moved Iafallo up onto to the first line to fill in where Byfield was. And I think Iafallo has had a really good series. 3 goals for him so far, an overtime winner. But he seems to be always around the puck in the offensive zone. Putting the puck onto the net, making passes and stuff like that. But he's not a physical player or anything, so you can't look for that physicality from him. Maiko says, I think Kopitar needs to put the Batman suit on like he is in her Batcave and light the lamp to avoid elimination. He has to. Philip Deneau has to. Drew Doughty has to. Kempe has been playing fantastic this series, so he has to put the suit on. There's only one suit there, but I'm sure if you're rotated, I'm sure there's more suits in the background somewhere. You can see it right off there to the. There it is. See, it's hard to do that with everything's backwards with the camera, so you don't know which way to point. So like I said, Philip Deneau, Philly D, he's been a huge catalyst for us throughout the season. A spark and stuff, but he's been pretty quiet this series. I give credit to the Oilers. Darnell Nurse, Evander Kane has been awesome. I really like Evander Kane's game. Big physical dude that can score, skate. Connor McDavid, whatever. He's just so good. Whenever he's out there, you're just waiting for something to happen. He makes things happen. He creates plays. He's very super fast. It's hard to defend a guy like that. Then Draisaitl, he said. Draisaitl's a dickhead, but every team needs a dickhead. A good team needs a dickhead on their team. Our dickhead, I think, is Drew Doughty, but the Draisaitl, he's been a bigger dickhead. So he's been awesome for the Oilers. So, really, really good, and I hate it. I can't stand Draisaitl. That's his job. He's a dickhead. Every team should have one. Maiko said we can always add more suits if it helps the Kings. Said a lot more suits. We're gonna need some suits for our goalies. So Korpisalo was pulled last night after giving up 4 goals. They pulled him in the second period, I believe, and they brought Phoenix Copley in, who did not fare much better. Excuse me. Last night just wasn't a good night. So Eileen says, I hope the Oilers lose. Me too. Next game, game 6 is on Saturday. I'm not sure what time yet. I'll be in New Jersey. So hopefully it's on before the Vegas sports scene, or maybe a 10:30 game. So maybe I just missed the first period or so after the Vegas sports scene. Yeah, like I said, they pulled Korpisalo out. They brought Phoenix Copley in. What does that mean for Game 6? Does Phoenix, does he get the call, or do they stick with Corpy? I still say that I think they stick with Korpisalo. As much as I like Phoenix Copley, he had a hell of a season. Korpisalo he's been phenomenal. Even in these playoffs, he did have until these last 2 games, because he gave up 5 goals the game before. It was a 40-shot game on him the game before, but still giving up 5 goals is going to hurt your save percentage. And then this past game with laying an absolute clunker out there, giving up 4 goals and I think 16 shots, 17 shots, but his save percentage is still like .920, so, or .919 or something like that. And I'd still stick with Korpisalo. That's who you traded for this reason. Roll him back out there. He's made some huge stops in other games to keep the games close, within reach. And he's one of the reasons why we're, sitting at 3-2, not eliminated already. So I think they stick with Korpisalo. That's what I would do. And again, if it looks like he doesn't have it, you have to have a quick hook because this is it. This is do or die for the Kings, and I want to see them move on. Last year the Kings lost to Oilers in 7. When it came to Game 5, the Kings won Game 5 last year in overtime, and I think that put them up 2 games, and then they ended up losing the next 2, where the Oilers, like I said, won in 7 games. So now this season, the Oilers win Game 5. That puts them up in the series. So I'm hoping that this is kind of like a flip-flop. Now the Kings will take it 7 and be able to beat them and move on to play probably Vegas. A little bit of dry mouth here is killing me. Dugout mug. So we'll move on from that. So that's all I got for the Kings. Need to be more physical. I'd like to see more out of Gavrikov also. He's one of the guys that we traded for in the Korpisalo with the quick trade when we sent Quick to Columbus for Korpisalo and Gavrikov. I think Gavrikov, you haven't heard much from him. The Kings also brought up Sean Walker to play yesterday. Who they dropped down? Oh crap, I can't remember who it was. But anyway, they brought Sean Walker up to play defense to kind of switch it up. Didn't help. And like I said, need to see more out of Philip Deneau. I think Gabe Velarde, he's played well since coming back. Kevin Fiala, he's played well. 3 points. I'd see him put some shots on goal though. I don't know if he has any shots on goal. It seems like you don't hear his name called all that often, but he was a huge offensive weapon for us throughout most of the season until he got hurt, and he's been out for a little while. So I guess it takes a little bit for him to get his footing under him. But he's been back 2 games. He has 3 assists already. We want to see some goals. We need goals. We need offensive points. Kempe's been our main guy with the goals. He's been our best goal scorer so far, but we need more. We need somebody else to step up. Like I said, I follow with the 3 goals. He stepped up, but it's time for Fiala and Kopitar. Fiala and Kopitar needs Kopitar has that big C on his chest. He needs to put it to use. Put on the Batman suit. You see it right there. It says Kopitar right there. Put the suit on, suit up, whatever it takes. Got another comment. Maiko says, sorry, but I missed earlier. But does Senga and the Mets bounce back tonight versus Nationals? Oh, I hope so. Losing 2 in a row to the Nationals. So the Mets have lost 3 in a row now. And they lost the last 2 to the Giants and last night to the Nationals. And I do think Senga's going to bounce back. I did say, so the balls in Japan are different than the balls here. Is he still trying to get used to it? Because he's had a ton of walks. What did I have written down here? On the West Coast trip, he pitched 9 2/3 innings with 8 earned runs, 4 home runs, 8 walks in 9 2/3 innings. That's a lot, and 11 strikeouts. There's been times that he's looked really, really good. Now that game against the Athletics, that one was kind of squirrely with all the walks that the Athletics were given. There was such a huge time where he was sitting on the bench just waiting to go in. It even showed him up in the bullpen warming up again because he was sitting for so long. So I think that had a little bit to do with that. But I do think that he bounces back tonight. I think he's going to have a good game. I'm going to have a prediction. I think the Mets win tonight 7-2. I think Senga goes 6 innings, 1 earned run, 7 strikeouts, 3 walks, and 3 hits. There it is. That's the line. Put the money on it. Bam! Cha-ching. Cha-ching. There it is. You got it, Maiko. Cha-ching. Put the money on it. And then Joey Lucchesi tomorrow. pitches another 7 strong innings, no runs. They kick Peterson's ass out of there. And they put Lucchesi in the rotation. That's it. Mets to the World Series. So we're done. We're good. Maiko says, I see a Japanese game. I seen a Japanese game last week. An announcer said in the next 3 to 4 years, the Major League Baseball will have 5 to 6 new Japanese aces pitching. Could be wrong. My Japanese is not the best anymore. No, you know what? And it's something I don't know if it's recently, but I feel like in the last few weeks I was thinking about it. It seems like there's more and more Japanese players hitting it big in Major League Baseball, where as before it was more Latino and stuff like that, and now it's seems like it's kind of like starting to take a turn where you're starting to see more Japanese players, more Oriental players getting a shot, and coming over superstars and producing in Major League Baseball. So I hope there is. I hope there is. It's a weird there's weird rules from the Japan League, the Nippon League, like with their contracts. You have to be so many years in that league before you can move on or something like that. Because I remember Senga was ready to come over a couple of years ago, but whatever rule that they have there, he wasn't allowed to. He was I guess legally bound to that league or to that team or whatever it was. So they do have some weird ass rules but I mean, you can't blame them. They don't want to lose their super. The Nippon League is their Major League Baseball over there, so they don't want to be losing their best players to the Americans all the time and stuff. But that's where the money's at. I'm sure they're making the Japanese players when they come over. I'm sure they're making a lot more money here than they are in the Japan League. I could be wrong, but Maiko says it's the rice. I'm telling you, Nippon power. It could be the rice. Chili and rice. That's one thing, Maiko, that you said. I was thinking about chili. You made chili the other day. My mom, you made chili spaghetti, but which looked very, very good. But my mom, when she would make chili when I was a kid, she'd always serve it the chili on top of rice, and that was always fantastic. I don't know if you ever had it like that, but I'm sure you did because you're a rice eater. You like your rice. All right, so that's all I have for the Kings. I got one more topic here, Aaron Rodgers. So I wonder if Eileen is still on, if there's anything she wants to say about Aaron Rodgers being a New York Jet now. Maiko says, yes, love that. I'm sure he's talking about Aaron Rodgers and not the chili and rice. But yeah, no, he's talking about the chili and rice. I missed that. It's been a long time. It's probably since I've been a little kid, since I've had that chili and rice. It's overdue, well overdue to have some. Maybe as a teenager then, but anyway. So Aaron Rodgers to the Jets. Big news to a certain extent. Everybody knew it was going to kind of happen. But it finally happened. Eileen says, yes, I'm putting down my work laptop for this. So the Jets and the Packers, they swap picks this year, first round picks this year. The Packers get the Jets second this year. The Jets get the Packers fifth round this year. Then next year, it's a second round pick for the Packers, which is conditional if Aaron Rodgers plays like 80% of the snaps, I think it is, or something like that. Then it moves to a first round pick. But if the Jets are as good as they think they can be with Aaron Rodgers, you have to look at it. That's going to be a late first round pick. So it's almost like a second round pick anyway. So if the Jets get to where they want to go, like AFC Championship, Super Bowl, you're looking at a 31st, pick anyway, which is essentially your second round pick. So it's not going to be a top 5 pick. It's not going to be a top 10 pick. It's probably not going to be a top 15 pick. So you're looking at it. If I'm a Jets fan, I'm saying, well, hell, that's going to be a late 20s, early 30s pick anyway. So what the hell? Yeah, take it. So I'm excited to see Rodgers in New York. They have a lot of young talent. I'm glad that it's over. I'm glad I don't have to hear about it all that much anymore. Michael says the odds in Vegas just went to the Jets, 3 in the AFC behind the Chiefs and Bills. The AFC East is going to be a lot of fun to watch. The Bills, Jets, and the Patriots are always kind of squirrely there too. So, and the Dolphins, they're a decent team. Eileen says this trade isn't bad for the Jets as people. I didn't think it was bad for the Jets at all. I think that's a win for the Jets. The only thing that would worry me as a Jets fan is his age. How long are you going to have him for? The one thing that really got under my skin was ESPN. It was there was a reporter. I don't remember who it was. It was a female reporter. I don't remember her name. I don't remember exactly word for word what she said. Basically, she was saying that she's glad it's over, and she was talking about Rodgers' character and saying how he's always pushing his agenda on people, and she goes, people don't want to be force fed his agenda. And I'm thinking, who the hell are you? ESPN. That's all they do is force feed agendas. I mean, that's all they do. They're always political. It's nonsense for her to say that. I'm like, you got to be shitting me. She's actually going to go there with this. An ESPN reporter, when ESPN owned by ABC and Disney, that's all ESPN does is push agendas, political agendas all the time. It's always there. It's ridiculous, and it's for her to say something like that really got under my skin. And I like that. It was asinine. It really was asinine. I understand what she's saying. Nobody wants to be force fed. Somebody's beliefs or agendas. I mean, in America today, that's all it is. Like what I like. If you don't like what I like, I don't like you. Blah blah blah. That's how it is nowadays. And if you don't like what somebody else likes, well, they just keep pushing it on you. And that's what she's saying Rodgers was doing about something. I don't remember what it was. Whatever she said didn't make sense to me anyway. Like Awasa or Sawasa or whatever it was that she was talking about. Rodgers is trying to force feed people, but that's all ESPN does is force feed their political agendas. Whether I'm not going to get too much into it, like with calling out certain things, but you know what I'm talking about. If you watch ESPN, you know 100% what I'm talking about. Especially over these last few years, with our political landscape, where it's been the last, I guess 6 years, and so yeah, it's ridiculous. ESPN can kiss my rump. Yeah, rump. That's what I said. Michael said, that's why I only listen to Out of the Box Sports. No agenda, keeping it real. You know what? 100% keeping it real. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that anyway. That was just one thing that bothered me. I think it's a good trade for the Jets. It's a good trade for the Packers. I think both teams win. The Packers will see what they have in Jordan Love. If they don't have what they hope that they have in Jordan Love, it's supposed to be a good quarterback class next year. Maybe they tank. You know what I mean? It's maybe they see Jordan Love's not going to cut it. They trade some major pieces away, get better draft picks, tank, get one of those top quarterbacks next year, and then they're right on top again. Much like Indianapolis Colts when Peyton Manning was hurt. They basically tanked that season. I don't remember who they had at quarterback. It didn't really matter. But they lost all those games, and they ended up drafting I can't think of his name right now. I can picture him. He had the froggy voice. I can't think of it. Or he had the deep voice. Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck. Eileen says Rodgers has to play 65. Okay, I thought it was 80, but okay, 65% to make it a first-round pick. Maybe they manipulate that, and he doesn't play that much. I think he's going to have to play that much for the Jets to get where they want to go. Maiko says tank for Caleb Williams, Andrew Luck. Yep. And I'm still bummed Andrew Luck retired. I thought he was a fantastic quarterback, super tough. He always lowered the shoulder around with the ball. It's something that I wish Derek Carr did more of when he was with the Raiders, which is one of the reasons why I think Derek Carr is not a Raider anymore. If he would have ran the ball more, I think Derek Carr would still be a Raider. Eileen says, think about it. If they're blowing out teams, you can bench them. Yeah, I guess that's a huge if though. Or if they are getting blown out, they can sit them. You don't want your team to get blown out though. But 65% is a lot. I shouldn't say it. 65% is so that'd be 35. It's sitting 35% of the time is a lot of time to be sitting. So it's that can't be good. Maiko says, I still remember at the draft, he pulled out a flip phone. I know one person that misses flip phones. That's my old man, my dad. He got a new I think it's an iPhone, or I think he got a new iPhone, and he must have ass styled me 3 times. He's always yelling and cursing. I hate this goddamn phone. This stupid thing, he goes, rah. Technology. All right, so I'm going to go over our show schedule here. So we got Mondays, we have Joystick Junkies. Tuesdays, Extra Innings at 8 p.m. Of course, you have the Bat Cave. Them 215 boys tonight at 6:30. There's no College Football Frenzy tonight, where they'll be getting ready for the draft Thursday. We're going to have a draft special. Locker Room podcast, 444 Locker Room, I believe will not be on tomorrow. The Fight Club 215. Not sure if that will be on or not. If it'll be on after the draft. Fridays, you have the Big Blue Power Hour, and Saturdays, the next time you'll see this beautiful mug on the Vegas sports scene. Also, another one of our terrific sponsors, J Fine Law, Jason Fine. Call 1-800-HURT-123. Ask for Big Al. Also, we also have a couple different offices. You have the Cherry Hill, New Jersey office at 3 Greensward Lane, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You have the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania one at 1628 JFK Boulevard, Suite 2120. And then you also can call Paul, our buddy Paul here in Pittsburgh. J Fine Law is everywhere. Throughout Pennsylvania and Jersey now, unbelievable. So you can call Jason directly 24/7 at 267-962-4895 or Paul at 267-303-7324 for a free consultation. So the Pittsburgh office is at 800 Grant Street, Suite 2900, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. MVA, slip and fall, workman's comp, personal injury claims. They do it all. So make sure you call 1-800-HURT-123 or call Jason directly 24/7 at 267-962-4895 or Paul at 267-303-7324 for a free consultation. And one more thing here, the Not Your Average Janes. I coach a 14U girls softball team, travel softball team. And we're looking for donations to help with costs for equipment. The price of balls are outrageous. The prices of tournaments go up. That's what we're a tournament team, so that's what we play in. You're looking at tournaments anywhere from $550 to $700. So fees like that, constantly going up. Maintenance fees for fields and stuff like that. We do have a couple fields that we play at, practice at. And they need upkeep. Also, in the wintertime, indoor facilities we have to rent for practices and such. It adds up, and so we try to keep the cost for our families down by doing fundraisers. So if you're willing to give, reach out to myself or Paul Spencer, and I can give you my Venmo handle. Every little bit counts. $1, $5, $10, $20. I know our boy Adam Glenn has donated $20. Yeah, appreciate that very, very much. So that's the Not Your Average Janes. You can see the one picture there in the bottom right-hand corner. That was our first championship last season. Super excited about that. And so yeah, great group of girls. We have a lot of fun. They've learned a lot. They've gotten so much better over the years. So yeah. Make sure you check us out tomorrow for the draft. We're doing a draft special tomorrow. It's starting at 7:30. So I'll be on tomorrow. I'm not sure what time. My daughter has a softball game. So when I get home from that, feed my fat face some food, and then I'll hop on. So maybe 8:30, I'll hop on before work. And hopefully the Raiders did not draft a wide receiver that can run a 4.2 but can't catch and can't run routes. Hopefully they get a defensive player and we're an offensive lineman. A couple comments here. Eileen says, older generation are not good with technology. My dad's not that old, though. He's 60 now, but he acts like he's 85. Maiko says, I thought Siri was a real with my first iPhone. Paul was asking Siri out on dates. Hey, Siri, can I get your number, baby? Maiko says, no locker room, no fight club tomorrow. So there you go, the draft day party. I didn't think there was going to be a locker room, but I wasn't sure about the fight club. And there's also no college football frenzy tonight. Maiko says, awesome show, brother. Here we're family. Great cause. Yeah, absolutely. It's, like I said, every little bit helps. And also there's one other person you can help. Aviana Gillog. She was a guest on the Fight Club 215, I think 2 weeks ago. Here's her information. But so yeah, there's a GoFundMe for her or a Cash App to help her get to nationals. She's looking to become an Olympic boxer, but first you have to go through nationals and other big tournaments like that, and they cost a lot of money. So she's looking to raise money for that, and also for her gym and stuff like that. Turnabout Gym, which is a gym that they started on their own. Her idea and stuff like that. Go back and check that episode out when she was on the Fight Club 215. Really good episode. 15 years old. Great kid. Very, very, very bright future. So check that out also. And like I said, check the Monkey Cold Coffee out. monkeycoldcoffee.com. Use the promo code OOTB Sports. Maiko said that the toasted coconut rum drops tonight at midnight. Midnight. Get your ass online and get yourself some toasted coconut rum coffee from Monkey Cold Coffee on monkeycoldcoffee.com. Use the promo code OOTB Sports for a discount at checkout. You will not be sorry. Tell them the Bat Frie sent you, damn it. So that's pretty much all I got. I think all the comments are caught up. Yep, that's it. So that's it for me this week. Thanks for checking out the show. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for watching. For the people that are lurking in the back, hey, just throw a comment in there, just saying hello or whatever, anything. Even if the Mets aren't your team, the Kings aren't your team, just throw it out there. Whatever your team is, we can talk about your team for a couple minutes. Maiko says, whoever orders an order of $50, I will personally send them a shirt, Monkey Colt Coffee, a Monkey Colt Coffee shirt. That's what it is. So whoever orders $50, Maiko says he will personally send them a Monkey Colt Coffee shirt. So there you have it. Get out there and order your Monkey Colt Coffee, $50 worth. and then show your proof of purchase to Maiko, and he'll hook you up with a free T-shirt. I assume that's one T-shirt. So whoever the first one is, unless you have a box of T-shirts that you're going to be handing out. So yeah. So one more time, I'm going to put that up there. Whoever puts it in order for $50, he'll personally send them a Monkey Cold Coffee T-shirt. Order that coffee. All right. So that's it for me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you. No, not yet. I'll see you Saturday night, 10 p.m. with the Vegas sports scene, and I'll also be back next Wednesday with the Bat Cave. So I'll see you then. Same bat time, same bat channel. See ya. Thank you.